Close your eyes and try to picture an apple. You likely see a shape, a splash of red, or a stem. But for millions of people, this mental prompt produces nothing. Their internal screen is pitch black. Most of us operate on the assumption that every human brain works like a private cinema, playing back memories and projecting ideas onto a glowing internal screen. Science calls the complete absence of this voluntary imagery aphantasia. It is a state of being where the mind's eye is functionally blind. This raises a paradox. If your internal screen is permanently switched off, how do you navigate a city, recall your past, or invent anything new? Our baseline model of imagination is incomplete. Aphantasia represents a functional, highly effective variation of human intelligence that relies on a different set of cognitive tools. This visually blind mind is surprisingly common among people responsible for our iconic visual culture. Pixar founder and computer animation pioneer Ed Catmull cannot visualize images in his head. Despite mastering visual storytelling, his mental workspace is dark. Even Glenn Keane, the animator who designed The Little Mermaid's Ariel, works without an internal monitor. He describes the physical page as his mind's eye. Francis Galton first documented this phenomenon in 1880, but the scientific community is only now beginning to realize the scale of this cognitive diversity. These creators prove that visual output doesn't require visual input. The brain possesses a hidden mechanism for processing creativity that doesn't rely on seeing pictures. Researchers estimate that roughly 4% of the global population experiences aphantasia. This is a natural variation in how brains process information. It is not the result of a cognitive deficit or physical damage to the visual system. Modern research into the condition was sparked by Dr. Adam Zamen's 2010 case study of patient MX. After a medical procedure, MX abruptly lost his ability to visualize, providing a rare window into the neurological pathways of the imagination. Think of it as a user interface difference. Most navigate thoughts through visual folders, while aphantastics process abstract code. This only applies to voluntary thought. Asleep, aphantastics experience vivid dreams. The rendering engine works, but the conscious link is absent. Aphantasia is a parallel operating system. It allows the brain to map the world through spatial relationships and factual data, rather than snapshots. This data-heavy approach offers a specific trauma trade-off. Without an internal screen to replay memories, aphantastics are less susceptible to the intrusive, visceral visual flashbacks that often follow traumatic events. Bypassing mental imagery can also streamline high-level cognition. Many people with the condition excel at tasks requiring hyper-efficient abstract logic and complex spatial reasoning. This is why we often see aphantasia in high-level science. Craig Venter, who led the team that mapped the human genome, suggested that his scientific success stems from a mind that processes raw concepts without visual distraction. For many, realizing that their abstract mind is not the universal standard comes as a late-life shock, a sudden awareness that others are actually seeing their thoughts. You can test this by thinking of your own front door. Are you observing the color and the handle in a mental image, or simply accessing a factual list of its attributes? When the brain prioritizes abstract data over visual representation, it develops a specialized mode of thinking that excels in scientific and conceptual frameworks. Aphantasia exists on one extreme of a vast cognitive spectrum. On the opposite end is hyperphantasia, where internal imagery is as vivid and detailed as high-definition video. At current estimates, 1 in every 25 people has a completely blind mind. Right now, millions of people cannot visualize the faces of their own children or partners. They rely on a catalog of memorized features rather than a mental photograph. This trait frequently overlaps with other conditions, such as prosopagnosia or face blindness, and the complete absence of a verbal inner monologue. These overlapping traits suggest our internal realities are isolated. Human consciousness is far more diverse and subjective than our common language of imagination suggests. Modern tools are beginning to bridge this gap. Generative AI allows abstract thinkers to instantly externalize the complex blueprints in their heads, bypassing the need for a mind's eye altogether. Now that you know the internal screen isn't universal, you have to reconsider your own place on that spectrum. If you want to explore more about how different brains perceive the world, subscribe. Because the next time someone asks you to picture something, you'll know that true imagination doesn't require an image at all.